Okay, welcome to the premiere episode. We're just going to dive right in. We're going to tell you who we are, what this is, how we got together, and why we're no longer doing what we used to do. And oh, by the way, never talked about this before. I got married, and Hank planned it. All right, so here we are, episode 1. And this is so awkward because not only have we never done a podcast together before,
Right.
I haven't used one of these in over 3 years.
I also don't know who the hell you are.
I know.
Where are we?
It's nice to meet you. by
Nice
the
to
way.
meet you. Hi, Spike.
No, it's a good place to start because we have a cross audience, but we also have a lot of new people coming in.
True.
And there might be people that are here because they love Hank and they've never heard of me before. And there's people that might be here because they listen to me for years. And they're like, who's that guy? I don't know that TV.
Right. What's that Hank guy?
So why don't we start with a little introduction of ourselves? And I'll give you a little resume and a little backstory on me because my name is Spike and I spent 30 years doing morning radio, getting up at ungodly hours, which is so nice now.
Like, how early would you get up?
Oh, 3:30 in the morning when I was on time, but I was
that's
never on time.
But you also, the advantage of it, and then more on Spike in a minute, is you could just kind of throw a ball cap on and go, right?
Yes.
Like when I had to anchor the morning shows, it was horrible. I'd have like ice on my eyes and like I just looked awful.
If I ever had to do a TV appearance and I had to put on makeup, nightmare. Because you understand, I got into radio so I would never even have to wear a suit.
Yeah.
I wanted to roll out of bed in a t-shirt, get right to work. So then, of course, if you have a meeting with clients or promotions
Sure.
or something, you might have to wear pants. But otherwise,
Some more on Spike.
Yes.
So you spent 30 years in radio, and then
I
how
did
many years
radio-
in Detroit.
Detroit was about 25 of those 30 years.
One of the founding members of the Mojo in the Morning team.
Yes.
And then you are no longer with that team.
No. Launched that show in January 2000, and it was after I'd already worked at an alternative rock station. I moved here during the Red Wings sweeping for the Stanley Cup, back-to-back Stanley Cups. So talk about a fun time.
Right.
1997 to move here.
Wow.
Spent half my life here, and then started a family here, raised my children in Michigan proudly, and it's just been a great ride until we'll get into in about.
Okay, sure. It was a great ride until the ride ended.
No, but then, but where I left off when I had a radio job, people got to know this East Side girl I was dating, Megan.
Okay.
And she has, we'll get to this too.
Married.
Got married.
Married.
Haven't told anybody
Yeah.
that. And Hank actually planned the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Of
interesting.
course, you got to have a gay plan a wedding.
Exactly.
I mean, Jesus, what are we talking about?
So we snuck off and got married. And she has a 9-year-old son who lives with us half the time.
Okay.
And now you're up to speed on
On
who I am.
Spike. I
Let's
love
get
it.
who I
A
am.
whole
So
new chapter for your life, and it's exciting, and this is exciting, and this podcast studio that is in the Mike Morris Law Studios is fantastic. It's new, and this project is new.
this whole thing is new.
Yeah.
And we'll get into what we hope to do with it and how exciting it is. But first, we need the Hank bio.
My name is Hank. Hank Winchester, and I've spent, we both spent roughly around the same amount of time on the air in Detroit. Just one was on TV and one was on morning radio. So I spent about almost 25 years on the local station here in Detroit. I loved my job. It was an opportunity to help people really make a difference in the community. That's going to be continuing in different capacities very soon. But my entire professional career was TV. So moved around the country, small markets, landed in Miami before I got to Detroit, and loved my time in Detroit. And then I'm no longer doing that in Detroit.
Which
But
we have to get
my
into.
cup is so gigantically full, and the last year has just been filled with so many incredible blessings. The setback is the setup, and we had been set up. And
Mhm.
I'm engaged to Judge. People that have followed me with Kelly on the Morning After podcast know all about Judge, all about my daughter Emma, and my fat dog Eunice. So, just counting all the blessings.
We're gonna get into all that background too, because my 2 daughters, we're at different family levels. Because you have Emma, who's
Yeah.
8, right? I have 2 girls that are halfway through college. One's halfway through. One is actually finishing up her PhD, And so we're at different stages in life, different, very non-traditional backgrounds. But I think it's fun because it'll give us a lot of insight into even the people we talk to which by the way, is the part I miss the most. And
Yeah, that's the
oh
thing I
my
miss the
God, the
most. Yeah.
connection I had with an audience and the day I was removed and couldn't say goodbye to them, that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Everything else, easy. I woke up like a weight off my shoulders. I'll talk more about that. But the fact that I couldn't say goodbye to people, and thank God we still have this connection where people stop us all the time.
Sure.
And you get this too. I mean, you and I have been out for coffee or out for drinks or out anywhere. We always get stopped. And I love that because I always encourage people, please say hi. Don't ever feel like you're interrupting. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't come up and approach us. Love talking to people. And that's why we're back here, because now you have this great platform where we can be two people from traditional media background,
Sure.
but leaving the constraints of traditional media behind.
Right.
And we have that freedom.
We do. We have a whole freedom and opportunity to connect with people in a whole new way. That's what I loved about the podcast with Kelly is I wasn't TV Hank anymore. I was like a real human who could talk about his life and talk about challenges and things that are good and bad. And this for us together, I mean, this is something we've been months in the planning for this. And it's really a multimedia platform and collaboration. Obviously, you're going to hear us on all the channels where you hear your favorite podcast, but YouTube, we're going to be using our socials to work with our advertisers. It's really an opportunity to talk about Detroit, have fun, bring a little light into the world because things are damn heavy.
Oh my God, that's the thing. And the main difference, I think, between this and what we left behind is that we can have fun, be positive, and be an escape for people because there's a lot going on in the world. I don't need to tell anybody. It's a lot. And it's stressful enough. So we don't need to be adding conflict and stories that are negative or cheating or all the things that come with the news right now. It's nice to just give people a levity. So we're going to talk about pop culture. We're going to talk about our own lives. We're going to talk a lot about Detroit and our lifelong friendship.
Yeah.
And going back to your TV job versus your first podcast that you did with Kelly.
Yeah.
You really had to be even more buttoned up than I did because we shared a lot of our personal lives. And when I was hired, I was told to be sarcastic, be yourself.
Sure.
You really had to maintain a news presence where very little of your personality was allowed to be shining through.
I mean, I had yes, I had to be very cognizant of not, dipping my foot into anything that was controversial. Kelly did fine with that. she ate up enough of the controversy.
True.
In a very cute way. It wasn't,
Well, there's a naivety to coming to a platform like this and being yourself and forgetting, oh my God, there's a whole business behind this, that I'm kind of attached to.
Yeah.
But that is how you were too, being on a network, on a news program. That you couldn't inject any of your own personality or even your opinions or anything. It had to be very straightforward.
Right. And so the podcast allowed us to do that. And and in this capacity, what's great is, we come, even though we're both in media, you from morning radio, me from television, me as a consumer expert, it really just kind of gives everybody, a lot of different, viewpoints to look at.
Right.
So it's good. It's good. What wasn't good, because I have to ask, because I'm just I know most of the juicy bits, but
yes, I'm on Ozempic. You can tell. Yes, thank you. It's not working.
I'm the only human who has actually injected Ozempic and I gained weight. I literally want to call Sanjay Gupta and be like, I have the biggest CNN scoop for you because I've been injecting the juice and I'm starving. I don't know what's wrong.
The only juice I've been injecting is a lot of beer on my time off. If I had known we were going to do a video platform with a podcast, probably would have stopped drinking 4 beers a night.
That's all right, honey. I'll put some makeup on that forehead.
Go ahead and ask.
What the hell happened? Because you were a founding member of this incredibly popular radio show. Everybody knew Mojo, Spike, Shannon. We all listened. And then it's just seemed like one morning I woke up and you were gone. And I remember texting you, very shortly, and you responded. And then
I will get back to that text, by the way. I'm sorry I didn't return the text.
Sure.
Still working on it.
But so what's the real deal? What can you tell us?
Okay. I can tell you the truth.
Okay.
Which, by the way, first of all, it all happened around April Fool's Day. So that was already cruel because then nobody believed this actually was happening. I'm the guy known as the scammer, right? So everybody thought
was it
another
actually
prank.
April Fool's Day?
No, April Fool's was on a Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. But it was
So
around that time when people
yeah,
would start. Okay.
so it happened on a Friday, but they didn't tell people till Monday morning.
Did you know it was happening? Sometimes people
No.
Okay.
Well, I had a feeling you could tell something's changing, you know?
Okay.
The vibes were off, you could
As
say.
Oprah would say,
Yes.
you weren't listening to your inner self.
No.
Okay.
So I should have listened to my girly instincts and
Yeah.
known, okay, things are changing around here. But the truth is, a lot of people say, why'd you choose to leave radio? I'm like, well, I didn't choose to leave radio.
Okay.
Some
All right,
people
that's
have
getting a little
said that.
saucy. Okay.
I also was not fired, and I also was not laid off.
Well, then what the hell happened?
Confusing, right?
Yeah.
So I was pulled into a Friday after the show meeting, and I was told, we're making a change to the show, and you're no longer going to be a part of it.
Okay. So to me, that sounds like fired.
That's what I thought. But no, they kept me on as an employee. I still retained a paycheck for my entire contract, which was, just almost 3 years, almost 1,000 days.
Okay.
And you can read into maybe why they kept me on, but I couldn't go work anywhere else. I couldn't touch a microphone.
Okay. And so that day you left, and then you wrote out your contract essentially.
I had to sit home in my basement and hide and not do any work.
Okay.
And I had no choice because I was still an employee. Someone else was in control of my name.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to feel sad for me because I was getting a paycheck and benefits and everything as an employee. So I wasn't, destitute out on the streets looking for my next meal or anything.
Right.
It was the best possible way it could have happened.
Okay.
So I can't answer the why it happened. I have ideas, but it was not how I envisioned the last chapter of my life to end. But I'm so thankful for all of that and what I had for 23 years there.
Yeah.
That really it was like the next moment. It was just time for me to move on. I never would have left that on my own. But when it did happen, I did feel like a sense of relief. This is great. I have a check coming in. I can figure out what's going to be next while I ride this out.
Okay.
So,
well, listen, I think there's a lot of things that I still would like answered because that's the person, the curiosity element for me. I think that people that are listening probably have a lot of questions too. And if you do, just throw them to us. That's good.
Yeah.
But maybe we take some time in an upcoming episode where we can kind of really dig into it. Because I think that there's more to share.
Yeah, there's a lot more to share.
Yeah.
And I want to learn more about you.
Well, wait, though. Let me ask you one question. Because this is something that, touches on my situation as well, because you spent so many years there.
Right.
And knowing you and knowing a lot of the players, because I'm, know Mojo, I'm friends with Shannon. It seemed very much like a family. Do you still communicate with the team?
Some things break your heart and some things fix your vision. That's the best way I can say it.
Is that a Maya Angelou quote?
I'm not sure. I think I read it on a water bottle
so what
somewhere.
does that mean?
There's some people in that building I talk to, and there's some I don't.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what. I do want to answer your question more specifically, and I can give you a better answer. But there's so much. This is our first episode.
We'll do that in a very
I want to stay on track, and I want to get a lot in our first episode. And the thing for me is, I don't want to look back in the rearview mirror. I mean, I was always told, the only way you look back is to see how far you've come or whatever.
Okay, calm down. I just want to know whether you're friends with these people. So
how about this?
We'll do that.
Let's bookmark it. Bookmark it. Episode 3.
Okay.
Episode 3.
Yes.
We'll spill the tea.
Okay.
That can be the name of the episode.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to all that, but I want to find out about your story because yours is harder for me to decipher because I saw so much different media coverage, and then friends.
Not a whole lot of media coverage. It was Channel 2 that did this original story, which turned into the next day. It was in the New York Post, the Daily Mail, the Times of Singapore. I mean, it just went everywhere.
But you haven't said a lot publicly about your situation, and I did hear a little bit from when you popped on with Kelly Stafford, and you explained how. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said like, I've been through a lot. I've been through a cancer scare
Yeah.
and a divorce and
Not a scare. I lost a ball.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know about
I'm
this.
a one
Yeah.
not wonder. You're
One
writing this down?
less testicle.
Wow, now you're better than
Okay,
me.
I'm taking notes because
You're
we're
more of a
friends, but there's
man.
still a lot I'm learning about you. No, and you lost both parents, and you said the
Yeah.
quote that stuck with me on that podcast was, "None of that compares to what you went through in that 9 months."
Yeah, it was yeah, the police investigation, the Beverly Hills Police kicking my door down as I was dropping my daughter off at school on her last day of school is it's never leaving me. I mean, I just sold my house because I can't look at the door anymore. I mean,
Right.
there's some
You're moving.
serious PTSD. I am moving. I'm not leaving my neighborhood. I literally bought the house behind me.
Now, I'm sure they've
We
monitored
needed
you.
more room and
but-
judges moving it. You know, it's a whole thing.
But they
so.
monitored you. They knew you. The police chief knows you. You've talked to people there before. Couldn't they just come meet you at your door when you came back from dropping your daughter off at school and say, "Hey, we have a search warrant"?
They also
Why'd they have to kick down the door?
They also could have just called my attorney because within the communication with this person who made this wild allegation, I clearly was like, if you have an issue, contact my attorney. You know, so they knew my attorney's name. They know who the attorney is.
Right.
And yeah, I got to work that morning and my neighbors started calling me hysterically because there were like 20 cops at my house and essentially followed up on, information from somebody who said that I had videotaped him in my home and that I had touched him inappropriately. And the only cameras I have in my house, at least at that time, were just nanny cameras that are just live video cameras. So they came in to seize all my electronics and essentially
and your phone and your computer.
ended
and
up finding 45,000 pictures of Emma and of all my friends.
and Eunice the dog.
and Eunice the dog and took all my electronics,
Right.
computers, went through everything. And
And this
then-
wasn't just the local police. This was the Oakland County Sheriff's. I mean, this was a full-on investigation.
It was, when I look back on it now, the most absurd thing from a police standpoint. I have been with police and close with police in many situations where they kick a door in. They're looking for a murderer. They're looking for a human trafficker. They're looking for, a cartel. They're not looking for somebody's nanny cameras in Beverly Hills, Michigan, and somebody who has no police record at all.
Right.
And so the allegation was made, the door was kicked in, and then Fox 2 did the story. A very concerning story. What really upset me about that was that 9 weeks later, when I was completely exonerated and our legal team had a press conference, Fox 2, the reporter who did this story originally, was not even at the press conference. So, follow your damn story.
Right.
If you're going to, report on allegations, then please be back there to report on the fact that, this was completely cleared. That reporter didn't show up to it, but Fox.
Well, then I saw
Amy
one.
Lang did a follow-up story on it, which I appreciate.
And that's the part that I went on my social media after this and said, isn't it crazy that when allegations come out from somebody, immediately front page splash. I get it's a
Sure.
Detroit celebrity.
Sure.
But then when there's no charges, when the police dismiss the case, when you're absolutely free of all criminal findings, there's nothing. It's bogus. They don't do a follow-up story. It's buried on page 23.
They did. But I mean, the damage it was done, is still done. For me, the hardest pill to swallow is that, eventually when my daughter is old enough, she's going to Google this and see this stuff. And it is, I really did a good job of not allowing myself to read comments. But when I did, the response from viewers was so overwhelmingly kind and positive and encouraging. But of course there were people in there who was like, oh, they're gonna find if they took his computer, he's doing things to kids. And to somebody who's a father like myself, it was just so heartbreaking to even know that anyone would even think that. And so yes, when the prosecutor's office came out and said there is nothing here, we're not moving forward on this, done deal.
But then,
there was a sense of relief, but there are ramifications for the things that were done. And that's all I can kind of say about that right now. But it's not something that I'm just walking away from.
well, and I see the damage done by, like you said, everybody saw the initial story. Nobody saw the follow-up. So then, like, even when you come to my house for parties and my friends in there and my family's there and they're like, whatever happened with that? Nobody heard the second half that you were cleared. Your name was cleared.
Yeah.
There was no charges.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of questions too, because the thing about that I noticed first was when you were cleared, I was waiting and waiting, and you weren't returning to your old job. And I was like, when's he come back? Because his name was cleared. So I don't know what you can and can't say, but can you explain why you're not on WDIV anymore?
We have agreed to mutually separate.
Okay.
And that's all I can say about that.
Okay. So
but I will
this
say
only leads to more questions.
I understand. I am very thankful for my 24 years there for two important reasons. Number one, many of the people who are still working there, and a lot of people who left the year before when they took the buyout, as you know, we just had dinner with Bernie recently.
Right.
Those, and I see them all the time. Those are my people. So
many great TV people have disappeared in the last 2 years, and the media landscape's changing. Same with my job. Everybody in radio is getting laid off. There's nobody left.
Yeah, those there are so many critical and valuable relationships I have from that building, and so many wonderful memories. A lot of those, I mean, I still see so many members of my WDIV family all the time. And the one thing I missed the most, which I will be getting back to soon, was solving people's problems and being in their living rooms and connecting with people that way. That was something that I really, really missed. And Paula Tutman, when she took the buyout the year before, she had told me, I remember her saying, like, the thing that I'm going to miss the most is finding myself in situations that I normally never would.
Right.
Right?
Right. And that was the same with my job. Every day driving into work was a surprise. You never knew what was going to happen that day. Either with topics, with guests, with crazy things that would just develop out of nowhere. But I'm not done quizzing because
so all I can tell you though is that we agreed to mutually separate.
Yes.
And that I am very happy with where I am, incredibly happy with where I am right now. And like you, I probably would have my media career would have just been different. But I'm very happy that we were able to come to this point, and that I still maintain so many wonderful relationships. And I wish everybody there the absolute best, the ones that I'm still.
Well, let me ask you the question you asked me then. What about some of the old coworkers? Because I immediately saw, while I was waiting for you to get back on and it was stretching out, and I'm like, what's happening? And you couldn't talk because there's a lot of legal stuff going on. I saw your old boss resign. And I was like, was that voluntary or was that pressure? I don't know if you could talk about the timing of it.
No comment.
You can't talk about. Okay.
No.
What about some of your coworkers? Your bestie, Karen Drew. Half the time I would see you guys were attached at the hip.
I have no comment on that, but I will tell you.
All right, let me write down episode 4.
I am very, very close, and I talked to Rhonda and Colthorpe, and Jamie and K-Gill, Ty. I mean, all the people there that you see are just wonderful people who care about journalism. And
I'm going to drop another quote on you and you're going to laugh at me. But I got very zen when I had time off and I was, reading a lot of spiritual stuff. Bob Marley said, your true friends are like stars because you only see them in the darkness.
Ooh, that's a
Isn't
good
good
one.
Because we both went through that.
Yeah.
Where people had a choice to stand by our side and trust our character and the fact that we've known them for decades. Or they jumped into an opportunistic situation, or they got scared and followed, maybe the company towed the line. Or so I say, like,
every single person in my life, every single person, except maybe one person that I have no desire to, name that person or, fan flames or anything. Every single person other than one particular person has been the biggest cheerleader in my life and has been there in those. What was your quote about darkness and light? And
the stars, you only see them when the darkness is surrounding you.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just so thankful again,
Yeah.
just for all the people that have been wonderful. I'm so thankful
Well,
for
and
all
that's
my
why
years at WDIV, and I'm
I
just
wanted to
happy
touch on
be
it
where we
because
are.
I know that's the number one burning question that we get every day, and because we've been out of the public eye. But it's important that I wanted to move on, and maybe we'll revisit these episode 3, episode 4 with more
I'm
details.
not revisiting shit.
Okay.
I'm done
Yeah.
talking.
You have more of a legal
I'm not
agreement.
no, I have. All I am going to say is that we agreed to mutually separate,
Well-
and that I'm very thankful for the time that I had there. Period.
What
Goodbye.
but
Next.
what I wanted to say was I didn't want to dwell and have episode 1 be a lot of negativity, because for me, I'm like, thank you for pulling the rug out from under me. Thank you. The change.
You are so like,
But,
light
like,
and happiness, and I love it.
People had they were really upset for me, and I appreciate that, because we had a relationship every morning. They're driving their kids to school or they're driving to work, and we had a personal relationship where I was with them every morning. And people were very sad and mourning me being gone. But after the dust settled, first thing, I had to talk to my attorneys and make sure everything was buttoned down. I was going to get paid, and I said I want to be able to travel and still post on social media and do certain things, because otherwise I was going to go crazy. If I couldn't do any kind of broadcast for a couple of years, I was going to go nuts. I needed something.
Yeah.
And poor Megan has been stuck home with me. So once I talked to my attorneys and found out my kids are safe, we have a paycheck, then I just felt this sense of relief. Like,
Yeah.
no one is supposed to have a job their entire life, one job. Like,
Yeah.
it's time to move on sometimes.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that time is until planet Earth throws it at you,
Right.
and you're like, oh, I guess this is happening. So the timing's never perfect, but in the end, I was very grateful for the time I had there, and when it all went down, the true friends that stuck with me, and the fact that, how many months ago you and I, after like crying on each other's shoulders and going through the stuff we went through, said, wait a minute, what
What are you gonna do?
are you gonna do? What's your next chapter? I don't know. What's your next chapter?
Yeah.
And that
I
developed into
I
these
wish
conversations.
I could remember how that like all started. Did I just randomly text you one day and say like, "What are you doing?"
You were looking for advice on
Something.
how to handle having to be silent for a little while,
Okay.
I think, because our jobs required where we were with our contractual stuff and non-compete contracts and stuff. You were like, I can't sit home. How is this not driving you crazy? And I'm like, oh, it is, but
Also, I know the one thing I know for sure is people are not stupid.
right.
And I'm at Target, for example, 4 times a day. I feel like I know everybody at Target, who they're married to, their kids. Like when I'm at the checkout, they all know my daughter. Like I'm just like, I'm back. Like I forgot paper towel. Like can I get some sort of like a loyalty program for the amount of times I walk through the door? But those were the hardest moments for me, is when you'd be at the checkout or something and some nice person would walk up to you and they're like, well, where are you? What happened? How come I don't see you on TV? And, of course you want to say, well, girl, sit down. I'll tell you what.
Right.
But I'm more focused on where I am now and moving forward. And so there's really no point for me to go back and, belabor something from the past. I'd rather just talk about the future. And also I'm very thankful for the time that I had there.
It led to us being here, which is amazing, because I'm very excited to have a place again where we could share, be unscripted, be authentic, just talk about ourselves. And on a more positive scale, moving forward, now that we got all that.
So should we tell people how I married you?
Yes. So
Does that sound weird?
we were having coffee, and it developed within 30 minutes into Spike's getting married, and you were the only one that knew. No, I'm sorry. You and one listener knew about it, and that was it.
Hey, everybody, it's Hank. Spike and I, we don't agree on everything, but one thing we absolutely agree on is that if you're facing a serious issue, a legal challenge in life, there's only one attorney to call. That's Todd Flood. Flood Law, the real deal. When your rights, your reputation, or your future are on the line, you don't want somebody learning as they go. You want disciplined litigation, real courtroom experience, attorneys who've actually been there, who know the decision makers in this town. Todd Flood knows everybody. He's been a personal friend for more than 20 years. And I'll tell you, when I had a legal issue, when I knew I had to fight, Todd was the only guy for me to call. And I got the results that I needed. If you need help, call Todd Flood. Call Flood Law. When it matters, Flood Law.
Walking in this building to record the podcast, I got it again. Somebody said, "Sweet ride." Honestly, I just got my car washed, so it actually looks way better than it usually does. But I have one person to thank. Friend of the show, Tanya Lalonde. She could be your friend too. I'll share. Go to Summit Place Kia in Clinton Township and Summit Place Kia in Auburn Hills. Everyone that I've ever worked with at the dealership has been amazing. They have a huge selection of Kias, so you can choose the exact vehicle you want all the way down to the color and options. Tanya Lalonde and her staff at Summit Place Kia just get it right every time. And I couldn't be happier. And I wouldn't say it unless I really mean it. Life is too short to be dealing with people you don't know or don't trust. If you or anyone in your family is searching for the best car at the best price with the best experience, go ask for my friend Tanya and tell them Spike sent you. You'll be glad you did. Why would you buy a new car from a total stranger? Go with the name you can trust. Tanya Lalonde at Summit Place Kia, with 2 locations to serve you in Clinton Township and in Auburn Hills. Call 1-800-NEW-KIAs or visit summitplacekia.com. So Hank and I are having coffee, and he's telling me he just had a Lady Gaga experience, went to a concert, and proposed. Yeah. And you were telling me how you got engaged.
Yeah.
And I was so excited for you. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, I was thinking of doing that too. And I started telling Hank, I got my rings. I was in Ireland. I had this guy hand make these custom rings, and I had no plan to get married. Megan and I have been talking about it. We've been together for over 5 years. We're like, someday we'll do this. But we weren't in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the rings. I was like, yeah, maybe someday I will. And we started talking about it. And then we were talking about we have the same law firm
Mm-hmm.
with all our business stuff.
Flood Law. Mm-hmm.
And you were bitching that, oh my gosh, my man Jake is a judge, so he has to go to every law firm party.
Although the Flood Law one, I always like going to.
Yeah.
And but Jake and I would both be invited separately to that one.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just an associate or somebody. You're a client.
Yeah.
And then I said to you, well, you going to Flood Law? I'm going to Flood Law. And you said, I am. And then I laughed and said, like, oh, I'll have to talk to Jake about getting married. Maybe he can marry us. And you said, why don't you get married at the party?
Yeah.
And I laughed and I was like, yeah, that'd be funny. But, I want to talk to the kids and I don't know what we're going to do. But we didn't want to do a big wedding.
Yeah.
We'd both done that.
Yeah.
So then I go home and I tell Megan, like, Hank says we should get married at the party. She goes, why don't we? She's like, your insurance is up. You can get on my insurance. Is that the most romantic thing anyone's ever said?
See, my heart just dropped.
Mm-hmm.
It's so romantic.
Because I was about to lose employment that Christmas.
Wow.
And she had a job.
It's a true love story.
I know. Just like Taylor Swift wrote about.
So then obviously you needed somebody to officiate, which is where Jake gets brought into it. And then being the good gay that I am, you were saying that like, oh, we want a small wedding. We don't want a big thing. Maybe we'll just do it at our house. And I'm like, wait a minute. The Detroit Golf Club is going to be completely decorated for the holidays. It'll look great in photos.
Yeah.
Let's just do it there. And so we'll go into the party. It's not like we're going to like stop the band and do it on the stage.
No.
I had called and I said, hey, when you walk into DGC, there's a little library room on the right. And I called and I said, hey, if somebody just happened to have a wedding, would we be able to use the little library room? And the lady's like, honey, I don't care what you're doing.
Right.
Like, whatever. And so like we got to a moment like after I'd eaten a little food and had a couple drinks and we're like, all right, we ready? And Jake had left his robe with coat check. So we just...
Oh, wait, back up though. I got to tell you about the listener.
I forgot about the listener.
So we come up with this idea to get married at the party. So I have to go get the marriage license. And I'm walking in to
The
Oakland County Courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm going through the metal detectors and going to the office, this guy behind me goes, Spike, oh my gosh, big fan. He starts talking to me. Big listener of my old days.
Okay.
And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I just got some paperwork I got. He's like, oh, me too. So then we get in the elevator together. We get out on the same floor. We start walking to the records.
He figures it out.
And he's going to get his daughter's birth certificate. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, same. He's like, oh, cool. So then we get in line. We get called to windows right next to each other. And he's getting his birth certificate, and he hears the woman start saying, okay, one marriage certificate.
Oh, no.
And he looks over at me, and he goes,
oh, so he knew.
And I said, shh.
Taylor Swift did not have this problem in
No,
Rhode Island.
no.
You need to have people do that for you.
Well, I thought it was fun because I told him, I said, getting married, not making a big deal of it.
Yeah.
In fact, I said, you're the only one who knows besides my gay friend Hank, who's planning it.
Yeah.
Literally the only one. We didn't tell anybody.
I wasn't as over the top though as the Martin Short character in Father of the Bride, though, was I? I was like, oh my God. Because in all the pictures you could see like some of the Christmas tree behind you, or like, wait, we have a picture. Don't we have a picture?
Oh yeah. So
pop
I,
one up?
I have pictures. So
Look
look
how
at Jake.
cute. He's so cute.
I know he did a
You
great
guys are
job.
cute. But see how good the lights look behind you? Like,
So it was beautiful. There was like a
decorations.
fireplace. There was a Christmas tree.
And somebody
we literally
walked away with a bottle of Vouv.
Well, yeah. So you gave me gave us a very nice gift, and we put it on the shelf. We said we'll come back and get this. And when we went to get married, we just went to the party first. Then we came into the room with our drinks, just put our drinks on the shelf,
Yeah.
did our thing. Maybe 3 minutes. Judge had an amazing little. I thought he was just going to do the legal thing for 30 seconds.
No,
he had a really nice, a very touching thing that I still remember exactly what he said. And then we got married, and then.
And your attorney was your witness, and I was a witness.
I didn't tell my buddy Mike Weaver, my attorney. I didn't tell him until we got there.
Yeah.
He's like, so what have you been up to? I said, oh, I got rings. And he goes, congratulations. When are you getting married? I said, in about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
when,
come in here
when,
and sign
when
it.
Hank and Jake get here, he goes, what?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what's happening? He starts calling people over. And I said, it's just a thing. And he's like, can I be your witness? I said, sure. Yeah. So if you look at the marriage certificate, Mike signed one, you signed the other.
Yeah.
There was a few other drunk party guests that wandered in the room to watch our nuptials.
Oh, look how cute.
There we are. Look at the four of us together.
Still
Doesn't she look amazing?
She looks amazing.
She's
I had
incredible.
already been 2 months on Ozempic and hadn't lost 1 pound. That's all I see in that picture is how much money I wasted on Ozempic.
So we were like, I guess I didn't think about the fact that I never get dressed up. I've been out of the public eye for a while.
Yeah.
And so the day of, I was like, Megan, what are you wearing? She's like, oh, I got this Christmassy red dress.
Yeah.
And I saw it hanging in her closet. I was like, I better step up and look nice for this.
So you matched.
So I went out to like Macy's that day I took her dress to find a tie that would match. And literally it was just a shitstorm. I was like holding her dress because I thought it's going to get snowed on. I'm going to drop it in a slushy pile.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid I was going to drop her dress in the mud or something. And so I can't, and the ladies helped me try and match. She's like, what's this for? I'm like, I'm getting married tonight. She's like, what? Like a random Tuesday? I was like, yeah.
Again, Travis Kelce was not having this problem.
No.
Taylor Swift. He's not running to the Macy's in Herald Square trying to match her dress.
We did the Flood Law holiday party because I couldn't get Madison Square Gardens. That's what it was. But we had asked, so the only people that knew we were doing it that night were our kids. We asked our kids if we wanted to, if they wanted to be a part of it and be involved. And they decided if they'd said they wanted to, we probably wouldn't have done this. We probably would have done a backyard thing or something. But kids didn't have any interest. So like, we love you. We support this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Yeah.
I talked to my ex about it. I thought it was respectful for her to hear it from me. And we're on very good terms. She's an amazing woman. But I didn't want her to hear about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
And this is literally the first time I'm telling everybody that we got married. I posted one of these sneaky pictures back in the day, and we...
But you kind of buried it, right?
I buried it, and I didn't say we got married. Now, of course, people that follow me on Instagram also see the wedding ring. Women look for that stuff. Yeah. And they're like, is that a ring on Megan's finger? And they thought we were hiding something. And no, we just didn't want to make a big splash about it. But it was great because after this happened, then... Judge checks his robe in the coat check and let's go party. Yeah. And I was holding this folder with the marriage certificate. Like, what do I do with this? I don't know. Let's just put it on this bookshelf. So look, we just slid it on the bookshelf next to the Christmas tree. And we just left it there all night. I'm like, it'll probably be here when we get back. And then we went and got toasty at the bar next door. And my wedding was fully catered. It had a free open bar. It had 2 great party bands. It had... dessert table. It didn't have a mashed potato bar, I think.
It had everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you needed a last minute prenup, there were 100 attorneys in there. I mean, the whole place was like kicking. But I'm still pissed that somebody stole my bottle of Vouv.
Mm-hmm.
I left the bottle.
Well, that's
going
to be your first investigation when you go back out and do,
I left the bottle of Vouv on the shelf near the marriage certificate, and somebody stole. But what am I talking about? I left with 10 flood law umbrellas. Because they were like big golf umbrellas, and I gave them to everybody for Christmas.
This is how I learned about.
I gave them to people for Christmas. They're great umbrellas.
It was a nice gift they made for everybody attending the party. So Hank takes the scoop of them like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you need 9 umbrellas for? And he says, well, I'm going to give them out as gifts. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're giving away branded stuff. It doesn't say Hank on it or
flood law. But it's great. And everybody in Jake's family is a lawyer, so they were very happy to get them for Christmas. So I handed them all. I think I left with a centerpiece too. I always leave with a centerpiece. Do you leave with centerpieces at weddings? I always think.
Can we make sure this stays here? Don't let Hank take
Nobody
this
wants.
home.
Nobody wants that.
We need this for future
That
episodes.
home goods plant. Although there's my Madonna candle, which I love. But yeah, it's kind of similar to that in the sense that when Jake and I got engaged in Paris after seeing the Gaga,
Which you also haven't really talked about. Did you
We
do a big
didn't.
announcement?
no,
On social or anything?
no,
No.
I like posted like a video, like I got all excited because I learned how to use CapCut. Like I was one of those nerds who's like, oh, I'm gonna throw in all of Paris pictures and do a montage. And then at the end of the montage, there was like a picture of the wine bottle that said pairs well with getting engaged. And then obviously, a lot of people kind of figured it out. But yeah, I wasn't gonna be like, I feel like it's like if you're of a certain age, it just seems a little
Right.
silly to be like, we're getting engaged and you can find my registry at Crate and Barrel.
No, but the problem is because people know us so well, they followed us for years on social media and they've watched or listened to us. They're part of our lives. So they want to know. And I feel there is a certain responsibility to like, okay, keep you updated because otherwise people feel we're being sneaky. And they're like, no, I just love you. I listen to you. And are you still on good terms with Kelly Stafford?
Yes.
I forgot because
because
there's going to be a lot of people watching this episode that they didn't address that part. So.
No, I love Kelly. I love Matthew. Matthew is such a role model to me in so many, not from being a quarterback.
Right.
He taught me once how to throw a ball or tried to, and he's like, forget it. Just from being a good human. He's such a good human. And I've told people, I shared this story on the podcast, and it just tells you who she is. Like when I called Kelly and said like, hey, I'm getting divorced. I didn't say it like that.
Right.
I wasn't like, hey, guess what? I was just like, girl, some shit's hitting the fan. We're getting divorced. And then she called me back like an hour later and she's like, what are you doing for dinner tomorrow? And she was living in LA. And I was like, I have no clue. Like, I don't know. And she's like, okay. So then I'm like, she's going to send like Payway or something. So I tell her, I don't know what I'm doing for dinner. And anyway, what happened is she called me the next day and she's like, I landed in Detroit. Like she flew to Detroit and she's like,
Oh my
I just
gosh,
wanted
that's
to
a great friend.
I just wanted to take you to dinner. So that's why I asked you. And I'm like,
Right.
I didn't know you were like flying to, so she flew to Detroit, spent the night and then flew back to LA. Like,
I just want to set a standard right now as your new co-host. We're not going to have that level of friendship. I won't. You better get TSA pre-check because I won't even walk through the regular line with you.
We live like 3 miles from each other. I mean, maybe I'll drive over if you're having a
I'll
crisis.
drive over if I'm already going out for coffee. I'll
Right.
definitely drive over. But a
Otherwise, no.
flight, 2,000 miles, no.
No, but Kelly and Matthew are great. And the podcast just kind of,
Well, I remember the
organically
timing of it,
did.
and it was like, she decided organically she didn't want to do it anymore. She had a lot going on. Obviously, she's got all those
And
kids.
she took a lot of heat for it too. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't know. Like it was even things that she thought would be benign, really got ugly. And I think for her, the real turning point was that Rams-Lions game here at home. She just really felt like I think she had one idea of what that homecoming would be like.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, and she's smart. She knows it's a game and it's sports and it's competitive. But there were some people who just weren't as excited to see her as maybe some others.
Right.
And so I think that was tough. And then just having to read comments that are negative about your children or things from people that are just in their basements and they're just being jerks. And so I think she just, I needed to take a breath and I think she needed to take a breath, but
because she's a good
did not
friend,
take a breath from each other.
when everything was finally resolved with you, she went back. She's like, fire up the lights. We got to do another episode and let everybody know what really,
I was back on for that a month or so.
Yeah.
And our contract with Podcast One, who owned our podcast, was kind of coming up.
So it's a natural place to end.
Yeah, I think it was for her. And, it just, but what was always fascinating to me, and I told people because, she's not a broadcast person, but she had such an amazing ability and a way to connect with people, even though she lives this grand, elaborate lifestyle. Like I always said, like Kelly's one of those parents though, who's like, if your kid's sick, your kid's sick. Like we can all relate to it.
Right.
It's not like there's this team of people that are just sweeping into the Stafford villa. But yeah, they're great. They're doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, You tripped and you fell into this podcast, and now this is the next chapter, and I'm really excited about it.
And I
because
called and I told her about it. I said, listen, here's what we're doing. She's like, oh my God, I love Spike. So yes, I wanted the blessings from all my people, from all the Leos in my life.
Oh my gosh.
You're not a Leo.
I am a Cancer.
Oh, your birthday is, your
It just
birthday.
happened.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
yeah,
I forgot.
it just
I hope
happened.
you enjoyed the bottle of Vouv that I gave you. If that was your birthday.
Kind of hoping for a
It got
second one.
stolen. Yeah. Hey, everybody, it's Hank. And guess what? I have some exciting news. I just bought my dream home. We are so excited to move in. But then reality hit. I needed a mortgage and I needed help. But it wasn't a big challenge because I knew who to call. Hall Financial. Here is why. Nearly 7,000 five-star reviews, not a few dozen, not even a couple thousand. We're talking about 7,000. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens when a company answers your questions, communicates clearly, gets the job done. And here's the number that got my attention. Most Hall Financial loans close in 9 business days or less. In this market, that is not a small thing. That's the difference between winning the house that you want and watching someone else get it. You shouldn't have to chase your lender for answers. At Hall Financial, you won't. They combine real technology and real people. So it's fast, but it never feels like it's a machine running your mortgage. You're going to deal with somebody that you actually know and trust. I hired Hall for mine. If you want Detroit's mortgage experts, I know exactly who you should call. Hall Financial.
This is a natural place to end for episode 1. And we can get into a lot of great new stuff on the next episode, because this is the best part. For the beginning, we're dropping our first 3 episodes all at once.
When is the episode when I ask you if you are still friends with Mojo?
Let's wait till 3 to spill the tea.
Jesus.
3 to spill the tea.
Okay.
But
right.
Listen, happy to report 7 months later, Megan and I are still married. Hank and I are still alive. We're now gainfully employed. It's self-employed, but we're employed.
Which is like really fun.
Yeah.
Doing your own thing and being able to say what you want to say and not have to worry about different things.
Oh my gosh, the freedom. And it's going to be great once, obviously now we're getting into all the questions being answered, but we're going to have a lot of fun with talking about Detroit and things that are going on in our lives. And the most important thing is that everybody stays along for the ride with us. That means they got to subscribe. They got to like this channel.
Where do I find you, Spike?
Everywhere, every platform, just search Spike and Hank. Come right up.
And then, but
Or
your
Spike
own
and Hank
personal,
everywhere.
You have a few different IGs.
Oh, don't even worry about that.
Oh, well,
No,
honey,
this
I'm
is our
worried about
baby
it.
right
At
here.
Hank Winchester, give a follow. Go to our shared page. Follow Eunice's account. Eunice used to have a Twitter, but then she got a little mouthy, so I had to shut her Twitter down.
So I've been doing this Explore with Spike thing and traveling because I wasn't allowed to touch a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Next episode, I got to tell you about the trip I just took to Africa and how I thought I accidentally killed a woman that was traveling with me. And like some of the crazy stories I'll tell you about traveling and camping through the Serengeti among the lions and all that
Well,
stuff.
if you're going to be killing people, we better keep this relationship with Flood Law.
Exactly.
And Mike Morris.
Yes, thank you. This is from the Mike Morris Studios. I have to say,
Beautiful.
saved us a lot of money, obviously. Having to build, the stress of having to build your own studio when you're already putting all this together. I had to buy spikeandhank.com. That was a lot of money. So it's nice that
Ben, who is here with us, I worked with at Channel 4 for many, many, many years. He's working with Mike now, and he literally helped design the entire space, put all the little, drove to Best Buy 400 times because one cable didn't fit the other. I came to buy the TV. That was it.
I think we moved one of the tables from my basement because it wasn't here
this
fast
one
enough.
didn't arrive
Yeah.
yet. So, there's just all sorts of, things, but it's all coming
But guess
together,
what?
baby.
We did it.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good that we did it? Episode 1's under our belt.
I'm going to go celebrate with a McDonald's Diet Coke.
I'm going to go find that bottle you gave me and celebrate.
You're the one who stole it, you cheap ass.
All right. Episode 2's already up, so go listen to it.
All right, everybody. Have a great day.
Want to grow your brand? Podcast Nation delivers professional podcast production, video services, and innovative sprint pods for businesses of every size. Get started today with a free consultation at podcastnation.com.